Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. It is your countdown to kick-off as Manchester United take on Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux. It is Monday Night Football, once again an 8 p.m. kick-off. I am Beth, I am joined with Mordzs. We also have a Wolves fan, Jordan Russell, joining us later. We have got so much to talk about. We're going to be talking about Amorim, we're going to be talking about team news. We've got loads of good topics and we need your interaction. So make sure you smash a like, get involved, get your chats, any polls you want us to do. This show is yours, so get your super chats in. And I can't wait to get into it. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
You got to let them know what's been going on, man. Beth, you've not been here.
I know, I've not been here. I've been watching from afar when I could tune in. Like I said, with the West Ham game, I didn't catch the first half. I was asleep. But the second half, I tuned in and I thought, I'm tuning back out. Honestly, I've not been here, but I've been watching and I've seen what's been happening. And I am frustrated, and today there is nothing excuse that any single person can pull out of some magic book to excuse not beating Wolves, who have 2 points so far in the Premier League, one of the worst Premier League sides I've seen. Quite gutted about that because funnily enough, I have a few friends that are Wolves fans, Wolves have always been, you know, it feels like they've been in the Premier League for a minute now, and they've had some good players go to other clubs. But unfortunately, they just do not look like a Premier League side whatsoever. So there's no excuse of Manchester United not beating them. But no. I've missed you.
Yeah, I was
going to
say,
I've missed the community.
It doesn't help when you're ill and United are not making you feel better.
No, it really doesn't. I was in bed, right? I had it on my TV, and I was just like, no, get off my screen.
No, it was bad. I was at the game as well. Like, obviously, you gave me a ticket.
Yeah, I did. Give Mordzs my ticket. You know?
It was just like, it was. Not at some points. I mean, not even overreact. Like at some points, it wasn't too bad. At some points in the game, but like especially late on in the game, conceding that goal. We spoke about it on the go and watch the fans forum. Ricky was going mad.
No, stay tuned in on this first.
Stay tuned in this, and then afterwards go and watch the fans forum back. But Usman was going mad. Like it was a typical therapy forum. We've had a lot of them.
Yeah, I need to go and look into it. I saw like a little bit of the intro afterwards, but then I was just kind of like, I need to go to bed. But I have seen a few clips going around. I've seen Ricky slamming a table down. Yeah, he was banging the table.
It was actually it was a bit crazy, to be fair. He was going mad at the Bruno thing about him overtaking Scholes, and to be fair, I actually 100% agree with him. Yeah, I can't even deny that.
Ricky going mad at Bruno? What? I mean, nothing changed then. No, but it is good to be back. Thank you, everybody, for all of your lovely comments. Welcome me back. It feels like, with United, I've been away for literally under a week, but it feels like I've been away for basically a year at this point because of how quick football moves and all the comments. I did actually, though, put out a couple tweets at the weekend that seemed to rumble.
Sure, everyone's seeing them.
That seemed to rumble Twitter. I didn't realise how big they'd gone until like multiple people who don't actually usually talk to me about United WhatsApp me, messaged me and was like, your tweet's like gone pretty big
like
on
a million
Twitter.
Views on Twitter.
Yeah, it's gone big. People, sometimes they don't like the truth. You know, sometimes people don't like the fact that you actually, in life, breaking news, everybody, you can change your mind based on evidence. Can you believe that?
I did not know
I mean, apparently you have to, if you ever think a thought, you have to stick with it throughout your entire life. Evidence changes things. We used this analogy before, actually, Mordzs.
Go on.
I said, for example, if you get into a relationship, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's so many green flags. They look like the perfect partner for you. You know, so many things that they're telling you or you've seen. You're like, this is my guy or girl, whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
But then a year down the line, there's many red flags. Things aren't going the way you want. You change your opinion, and we're going to talk a little bit about Rúben Amorim, and we're going to talk about the current state of Manchester United. But the first and foremost thing is Wolves away at the Molineux. Last time we beat them there, Kobbie Mainoo scored a last-minute winner. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but what are your overall feelings going into this game?
Look, I've said it to everyone who's asked me. There is zero excuse. There's zero reasoning. There's nothing anyone can say to me that can say, yo, you know what? United might actually lose today's game. There's nothing you can say to me. You can't talk to me about Wolves' squad. You can't talk to me about the manager. You can't talk to me about playing away games. You can't talk to me about anything.
Can't talk to you about the fact he needs players suited to a certain position.
I'm not hearing anything. These guys, and to be fair, it's not just on Amorim, by the way. It's on both of them. It's the players as well, because those players should 100%. Be able to also go out there and be arguably the worst Premier League team of all time. So far, they're on course to becoming the worst Premier League team ever. Like worse than the Derby team, worse than the Sheffield, I think United team from like 2020. They're on course to being the worst team ever. In fact, I'm pretty sure in their minds they're not thinking about staying up. They're thinking about how can I impress a Premier League team so I can get signed next season. That's what the players are thinking, in my opinion. They're not thinking about, we might be able to do a late. No. We're 14 games in, and it feels like Wolves have already gone down. So there is no excuse for anyone, including the manager, including the players, to say we're taking anything less than a clean sheet and multiple goals from open play. I don't even want to see set pieces, I'll be honest. We can score a corner, that's cool.
I'd take set pieces.
We can score a corner, we can score a free kick, but if we can't get an open play goal against Wolves, there's still going to be serious questions. I'm not going to hold back and be like, yeah, we won the game 1-0, it was a corner. That we should be able to score a normal goal against this Wolverhampton team.
Absolutely agree with you. And just to come back on that, Wolves have picked up just 2 points from their opening 14 fixtures, making it the joint worst start to a Premier League season in history.
See,
history.
There you go. The worst team ever.
Although this United side did lose to Grimsby, Grimsby, you deserved it. Like they're not even in the Premier League, divisions below. So it's like we have shown this season we can trip up on teams that we should be beating, but I'm with you. You have to see something today. You have to see a bit, and I'm not having, because this is the excuse I keep seeing. He needs better players. He needs a better squad. Yes, he does need better players and he does need a better squad. But there's a difference between here, and you can meet somewhere in the middle. Yes, he needs better players. Yes, he needs a better squad. But that doesn't negate the fact that this manager should be getting more out of that starting 11. A lot of them are international players that actually do really well when they go to their national teams. He should be getting better results and better performances out of the players he's got. I'm not saying we have to go and win the Premier League. Yeah, to do that, you're going to need better players and you're going to need a bigger squad. Of course you are. You're going to need improvements all over the team. I get he needs better players, but he still should be doing better. I mean, you could go back to it all day long. I mean, David Moyes has picked up more points and he joined, I think, Everton in January. And Everton have got a good side, but he's made them into a better side. He's made them better. Managers make sides better. And that's what we need to be doing. There's players there that should be doing better than what they are. You list them off. Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, and Mbeumo started well, but I mean, he still looks like a good player, but he's not hitting the heights as you would want him to hit for what he can do. I mean, there's so many players you could reel off that should be doing better than they are. So against Wolves, you can't use the excuse he needs a better squad. Like, you just have to turn up and do the business. The players themselves, like you said, though, they do have to take accountability. They do have to do better themselves. It's a joint thing. Players, manager, ownership, all of the moving parts need to up the game. Yeah,
100%. And I spoke to a fan on the last game, the West Ham game, and I think his name was Frankie, and he said, we asked him about Amorim and his thoughts, and he said, look, even if the players aren't playing well, for him, he says that the manager is actually supposed to be the one to try and get the best out of the players anyway. So this whole thing of but the players are not, the intensity, this and the energy and the passion, and well, who's supposed to be bringing that to the team? You know, who's supposed to be the one who's channeling that energy, who's channeling that intensity into the players? That comes from the manager, it comes from the captain, and it comes from the manager. But the manager, more importantly, the manager's supposed to be the one to make the players feel like they're the best players on the pitch. Make the players feel like, it doesn't matter who you're coming up against, you can win this game, and you are going, the way how we set the team up is the best way for the team to play, and for each player to get the best out of each player. So this whole thing of like, but the play, I mean, Amram says it all the time, intensity this and the players this, etc. But aren't you supposed to be the one to get that out of the players? Like, shouldn't that be your job? You're the one getting paid a lot of money to do it. Nobody else is nobody else. You can't. Yes, the ownership, you can put some blame on them, etc. for different things, but you can't necessarily say that the owners are the ones to get the players to play 110%. The players, as professional footballers, should obviously do their part, but the manager, there's certain managers where you would never even think that a player wouldn't put 110% on the pitch. They wouldn't even dare. You wouldn't try to do that because the manager has put a certain mentality into the players that's playing for him. So then they know, when I step on that pitch, I'm going to give everything that I can for 90 minutes. And I feel like Amram, as a manager, should be doing that as well. So there shouldn't be that excuse of the players are doing this and not listening. You're the one who should be putting that through to them to do that.
Well, I want to talk about it. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because I've seen certain people say, well, if we beat the Wolves, he's got to get sacked, he's got to go. And then certain people out there will be like, well, I want to lose to Wolves just so we can get a new manager in, which I think is the wrong thing to think. I'm just going to put that out there right now. But then there's other people that think you need to stick with the project. You need to stick with the manager. He's done some good off the pitch. And there's a real support out there for Amorim and finally sticking with the manager, because it does feel like we've been on this manager merry-go-round for a long time. But then there's other question marks. Is this the right manager to stick with? Is this the right person that we should be sticking with? There's so many question marks in the fan base, and I really do think it's quite an open conversation right now of stick or twist. Yeah. Do you stick with Amorim and invest in him, get his players in? You've got to go strong in January if you do stick with him. Or do you worry about not getting European football in arguably one of the most open chances to get European football there's been in the Premier League for a long time? Yeah. And do you twist and bring somebody else in now and change it in hopes of securing that Champions League football and changing the way that we're going to do things? And I think it's a big discussion in the fan base. So I'm going to get a poll out there, stick or twist, and see what you guys think. So I do want to bring it into the show. And I mean, I put it simply like this, before I let the poll run, because we've got some super chats to get to as well, is when I say I think we'd be better off with a different manager right now, it's not in a way of I don't like Amorim. I want Amorim to do well. From now to the end of the season, I'd love nothing more for him to succeed, be ridiculously successful. You know, this was just a blip. He goes on and shows everyone. He wins multiple Premier Leagues for United, goes down as a legend manager of Manchester United. I'd love nothing more than that, because that means United are successful. But at the end of the day, over players, over managers, over anyone, what I want is Manchester United to be successful. And I can't even tell you how detrimental it would be for the club not to get some sort of European football again, especially Champions League football. There's players out there that are real pivotal turning points for us right now. There's the Elliot Andersons, there's the Adam Whartons of the world. Mark Gahey could be someone we could go and get, because Liverpool don't see themselves right now. There's so many good players that, for me, are like the Declan Rice moments for Arsenal that we could go and get. And at this moment with Amorim, I just don't see the performances the way they should be. The results aren't the way they should be. And I'm just a little bit worried that it'll go too far. We'll miss out on the European football and Champions League football to attract these players, and it'll set us back. That's where I'm at right now. So we will get into it a little bit more, but it's a big discussion, and I want to hear what other people have to say. Yeah,
I mean, I agree. I think the only thing I will say on that point is, like, the way the table is looking. I mean, look, I think right now because someone remind me in the table where we're at, we're pretty sure we're like 12th or something like that.
I'll get it up right this second.
And it might look like I think we're 12th. Let me check.
We are 12th.
So we're 12th in the table, and that might seem bad, and I'm not even trying to...
Newcastle gone ahead of us.
Yeah, but that might seem bad, but I'm pretty sure if we win, we go to like 4th.
If we win, we go to 6th.
6th, right? We go to 6th. The way the Premier League table is this season, like you said before, it's so up and down. Any team can go anywhere. Aston Villa started the Premier League season. They couldn't win a game in 5. I don't think they even scored a goal in the first 3 to 5 games, something like that. And now they just beat Arsenal and they're in the top 4 and are thinking about Champions League football. The table can change in literally the space of 5 games, even the space of 3 games, or even 1 game for us. We can go from 12th to a European spot. So the reason why I say that is when people say to me, oh, but I remember a couple of weeks ago, everyone was saying, but we're in 6th place. How can you say we're not doing well? 6th place can turn to 15th in 1 game. You know what I mean? So you can't look at the table and be like, we're here right now. That means we're doing this well in the league, because that can change so quickly. The way I'm looking at it is performances. How well are we actually doing in these games? That should really tell you how well United are doing overall in the Premier League. And one thing that I will say as well is, based on that, a lot of people saying, oh, have we not improved on the pitch compared to last season? Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. But who took us to that point? That's my point. Who took us to the point where we were that bad? We were not that bad before Amorim came. So if you're saying to me, United are better than we was last season, yeah, we're better than we was last season because Amorim took us to the worst point we've ever been at.
Well, do you know why we're better than we were last season? Senny Larmans and Mbeumo.
Yeah, we've got better players.
If we had Onana in goal this season, we'd probably be down back where we were last season. I'm not joking.
Possibly. Yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah.
I'm not joking. And, okay, yeah, good on Amorim for changing the keeper and kind of pressing that through, but, I mean, that doesn't take a genius. Anybody would have tried to move on Onana and bring in a new keeper. I mean, 100%. that you don't deserve... People say, well, you got rid of Onana. What do you want, a gold medal?
Yeah, he would have done that.
My mum would have got rid of Onana if she could have. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect, but he just wasn't at the level that Manchester United needed. So, you know, that's... for me, that's a reason why we're probably a bit better this season, is because Senny Laman's made a huge difference, and Brian Mbumo, in my opinion, is genuinely class. And he's improved the front line, and he's helped us out with quite a few crucial goals this season.
Definitely, yeah.
But again, it's not even if we were getting the results we were getting, which, let's be real, table aside, because a lot of teams in the Premier League are up to scratch this season. Table aside, if you look at the actual results, I mean, Ginge, by the way, congratulations, won I'm a Celeb. He was even saying on there, it's not acceptable for United to draw against West Ham. It's not a respectable result. Yeah. West Ham, if you look at the stats and you look at Opta, they're favourites to be relegated this season. And at Old Trafford, due to, in my opinion, poor in-game management, we couldn't even get the 3 points. Everton 10 men, that result. Even the Spurs, the draw there, I mean, it's not the worst, but we should have done better out of that game. You know, there's so many games this season where you say, Man United should have done better, we should have got more points. But even if the results were still that way, but the performances, you could see we were actually playing good football, you could see it was progressive and things were just going against us, I'd be willing to go for the ride.
Yeah.
But I'm just not seeing anything kind of progressing in any areas. We've got a lot to talk about anyway, and we've got a few things to get into. So get your super chats in and let us know what you're thinking. We've got Tom McBride saying cup draw tonight. Hopefully we don't get Grimsby. Yeah, just on that, there is a cup draw tonight for the FA Cup. It is at 6:40. Manchester United are ball 23. So stay with us. I think that'll be. I think we'll be live when that happens. We will be live. It'll be
around Team News.
Yeah, it'll be around Team News. So stay with us on that, and we will tell you what the draw is for Manchester United with the FA Cup draw. Still in that competition. Trophies on. Daniel Thompson says, hope you're well, guys. Good to see you back, and hope you're better, Beth. I must win tonight, and I still back Rúben Amorim if we lose. I can't defend that. But if we lose, I can't defend that. Let's go United. So Daniel Thompson still backing Amorim, but can't defend a loss to Wolves. How would you feel about a draw? That's a question.
Not happy with a draw.
Yeah, I would throw into you guys. Thank you, Daniel, by the way. Appreciate that. I'm feeling better. Thank you. Andy Morph says, unless we win 8-0, he should be sacked. I mean, that's a bit extreme. That's a bit extreme, guys. We just need to see a performance. Shank3553 says, how are we worse? Ten Hag got sacked in 14th.
How are we worse than what?
Ten Hag, when he got sacked, I think it was
6 games?
Yeah, into the season. And to be fair, I'd have to go back and check. If anyone can do that, that would be brilliant. But we actually weren't too many points away. The table's quite open at that point in the season as well. We weren't too many points away from European football, if I'm not mistaken. And when Amorim came in, he actually took us way further away from European football, and we had no chance of getting it. But we were still in with a shout of European football if things would have improved when Amorim came in at the time. But I mean, it's not. Let's not talk about, in my opinion anyway, Mords, I'll ask you. Let's not talk about Ten Hag or Ollie or Van Gaal or Mourinho. I mean, we could talk about that all day long. If something's not working in the current state and you cannot see it getting better as of now, I mean, we don't just have to go back from the pool of managers we've already had. We try something new, in my opinion. But there's no guarantee something new would work either. I'm just putting the conversation out there.
And even on that point about something new not being able to work, I had this conversation again recently with one of my friends, and everyone always says like, oh, but we've tried this manager, we've tried that manager, we tried an experienced manager, we tried a club legend, we've tried a Premier League proven manager, and it's not worked. So why are we going to try it again? Why do you think that if you try something one time, it will never, ever work again? Does that even make sense? That's like us buying a right winger and they don't play well, and then we say, I'm never going to sign a right winger ever again because the last right winger we signed, they didn't work.
So true.
Does it make any sense? Just because we signed, I don't know, let's say David Moyes as a manager, and he's a Premier League proven manager, and it didn't work. Does that mean no other Premier League proven manager will ever work? Does that mean no manager who's managed, I don't know, who's experienced, who's won big trophies, does that mean if he's going to sign another one of those guys, it will never work? Each individual manager is their own person. They have their own philosophies, their own tactics. They have their own way of managing, their own way of building a club. That's for them as an individual. We've only tried it, I don't know, 6 times or something like that. However many permanent managers you've had, let's say 6 managers. We've only tried it that many times. What makes you think that no other manager on this planet will be able to work because the past managers didn't work? That's just not realistic. You know what I mean? That's like employing someone for a job and they don't work, so you're just never going to employ them, never going to employ anyone ever again. Does that make sense? So that whole argument of we tried Ten Hag, we tried this person, we tried Ollie, why are we going to try it again? Go and try somebody else. What makes you think that somebody else won't work?
I know, it's I don't get the argument either. That always gets put forward. I mean, another one that I always kind of see is Louis van Gaal was sacked, getting us 5th and winning FA Cup.
Yeah.
If Amorim got 5th and won the FA Cup, people would want him a statue built this season, and that just shows how much the standards have dropped. Like, we need to. I know we're not at that point anymore because that was closer to the Fergie times where people remembered, winning the league consistently and being in the top 4 consistently, competing for every trophy consistently. I know we're not that team now, but we need to uphold the standards of Manchester United. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not expecting Amorim with that team to go and win a Premier League. That's not what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
But that team can do a hell of a lot better than what it's doing now. And the standards of Manchester United is to, for me, now at least, is be competing for Champions League football and competing for
Europe, definitely.
Competing for Champions League football and competing for trophies till the end of the season. We're out of the Carabao Cup. Let's see how we do in the FA Cup. But and just I want to watch good football. Like, I tuned into the Aston Villa Arsenal game.
Oh.
Come on, that's what I want to see. That for me was arguably one of the best games of the season. It was brilliant. There were some brilliant parts of football in that. Some great management from Emery on the sidelines, taking that risk, bringing Buendia on for Matty Cash, an attacker for a defender. Sancho played really well in that game. I'm gonna be so honest. Like, you saw some real guts from a manager going out to win against a team that are favourites to win the league, and it paid off. And it was such a good game. And I saw something on this. If you weren't a United fan, would you want to tune in to watch United?
Yeah, I've seen someone say that as well. I agree. I don't think anyone would. Realistically, everyone watches United because we always play by ourselves. Half of our games are like Thursday night or Monday night or Sunday 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. or whatever it is. So that's probably why a lot of people watch us. But no, I agree. Like, it really just comes down to if we want to have a real conversation about it, it really just comes down to what are we actually seeing on the pitch. Like, are we seeing real progress in the space of, how long has it been, 13 months, 12, 13 months? How much real progress have you seen? And if you don't think, and even if you do think we've seen a slight bit of progress, ask yourself, is that really enough? Like, is that really enough progress to the point where you're saying, you know what, no, he definitely knows what he's doing? To me, it's not really.
I mean, it's interesting because Ten Hag, because someone mentioned it before, and I don't like talking about old managers really, but Ten Hag was sacked 9 games into the season. He won 4 out of the first 9 Premier League games so far in the season. Amorim's won 6 in his first 14. So that's the kind of comparison there. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Ten Hag needs to come back or anything, but Ten Hag had a little bit of substance behind him. You could argue he'd won 2 trophies. He'd won the FA Cup against that City side. He'd won the Carabao Cup. He'd got 3rd in his first season. Like, he had a little bit behind him where you could argue. I mean, Amorim lost that Europa League final and he's not really got them trophies to back him up. So, I mean, it's interesting how people... By the way, guys, if you are massively in favour of Rúben Amorim, super chat in and let us know, because I feel like I don't want to put across one side, because me and you were a little bit...
I gave up time ago.
Yeah, we're a little bit concerned currently under the current manager. If you have faith in him and you think he's going to be a success, I would really love to hear your opinion, because this is what the community is about. It's all about debate. It's all about, and we want to get both sides of the coin.
Devil's advocate. I understand. I see people's points all the time. My Twitter literally sometimes is just Amorim. It's literally just the whole thing's about Amorim. So I always see what a lot of people say. So I can, for some points, some people make good points, and some people talk about how talk about the players, how he's not got his players to play his specific system. Some people have spoke about like different injuries that we've had, certain players, etc., and all these different points. So there are certain points that you can maybe give to Amorim, and obviously time as well is the main thing. People say, look, he hasn't had enough time. It's been a year. We're supposed to give him at least 2 to 3 years. Give him some more time. So I can hear some of the points, but I think if you're going to add the points up, and it was like, here are the positives and here are the negatives, I just think there's a lot more on this side, on the negative side, than there are positives. That's just what it is, yeah.
Do you know what's an interesting stat as well, in-game management-wise? As revealed by The Athletic, none of Amorim's subs have scored off the bench this season. In fact, the 20-time English title champions are 19th on the list for impact made by substitutions. That would have been last, if not for Aidan Heavens' late assist against Brighton and Hove Albion. So
that's crazy.
Aidan Heavens, the one who's providing the assist there for Manchester United, and that's been another criticism of Rúben Amorim, is in-game substitutions. I mean, we'll get onto that when we talk about Kobbie Mainoo a little bit later, because Kobbie Mainoo is a big discussion point. Remember, guys, last time Manchester United won at the Molineux, Kobbie Mainoo scored that late winner. Fantastic goal. Apparently, he's not an offensive sub, though, so... He's got a last-minute clutch goal.
Let's talk about it later.
I'll
get into it too much now, so let's just keep going.
We'll talk about it later. We've got some super chats in, and quite a few people are noticing our beautiful Christmas tree in the background there of our studio. We are in the Christmas spirit, fully in the Christmas spirit here at the United Stand. And if you want your Christmas tree and you're in the northwest area, get yourself down to Staley Bridge Station and you can't miss Wayne's Christmas tree yard next door. If you mention the United Stand, you will get a tenner off, which is great. I think I'm going to head down there because I've been moving house a little bit. I've not managed to get my Christmas tree up yet. So I need to go and get one. I need to go and decorate it. And do you know what? I might also ask Ricky's wife if she can come and decorate mine as well. She's done a cracking job. Shout out to Shelley.
She's done an amazing job.
Ricky's wife coming and decorating our Christmas tree.
Yeah.
They just had the wedding anniversary this weekend as well. So congratulations to you guys, Ricky and Shelley, from us at the United Stand. Ricky will be on the show later, but get yourself down to Staley Bridge, Wayne's Christmas Tree Farm. Thank you so much for bringing it to us. Get a tenner off if you mention the United Stand. So thank you for that. Also, got some more super chats in from you guys. Shank3553 says he hasn't done well, but don't trust Ineos to replace well. We needed way more players. Last few games haven't had Cunha/Sesko, so it's almost the same team. Get that? Still should be doing better. Rob Always United says, I only think Amorim will be successful if he gets 2 more substantial summer transfer windows, and I don't see him lasting that long. So you think he needs 2 more summers? Well, he's going to have to get better results. 2 more summers? He's going to have to get better. The thing is, we need to do the tactics board. We do.
Yeah.
But you have to earn the right to spend a lot of money on your players. Yeah. Like, what evidence in the last 12 months tells you there's 200, 300 million to go and spend on your specific players?
Yeah.
You need better players, but also I don't want to be in a situation where we've got loads of players tailored specifically to Amorim and it still don't work out. You need to show me at least something.
Yeah.
Show me something to show, you know what, yeah, I'll give you the money. I'll give you the keys.
Yeah, especially because, you know what I will say, Ineos have been they've backed him a lot. I will say that. Ineos they've never really doubted him. They've come out anyway and said that they've doubted him. They always say that they're going to give him time. They've always said that they're going to be behind him. So in that sense, I do imagine them to give him at least this window anyway. And this summer window, and maybe the next one, depending on how he finishes this year. So I do think Ineos are behind him, but I do agree in the super chat. But they said even if Ineos do get rid of them, I don't know if I'm confident that Ineos will bring in the right person anyway. Let's be honest, because we don't actually know. Like if Ineos did bring on Amorim, so how do we know Ineos are going to go make the next right choice to go and bring in another manager? So yeah.
Well, the community is still backing him. It's 57% stick, 43% twist. I mean, it's 57 to 43%. It's not a landslide, but the majority of the community are backing him. So if you are, make sure you get in your super chats and let us know why, because we want to be able to bring in both sides of the coin on that one. But speaking of backing Rúben Amorim, there is certain arguments that are used when talking about why Amorim should stay in the Manchester United job. And some of that comes down to the players. So as well as getting your super chats in, make sure you get your hot takes in. We will be filming our hot takes tomorrow. So if you want to be featured in our video, you need to get your hot takes in. We'll be posting it on all of our socials tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And Mordzs, if the people aren't aware yet, what is a hot take?
So look, a hot take is just your wildest but honest opinion. It's your opinion where everyone's gonna say, like, wait, what are you talking about? But then when you explain it, it makes more sense. So let us know your hot takes and make them actual hot takes. That's going to be, grab people's attention and make people actually want to listen to your explanation. And we're going to discuss them on our hot take show that we do every single week. We're going to be filming one tomorrow. But send your hot takes. In fact, send some of them in right now. And we might even discuss them in the show. Yeah,
get them in as soon as possible. But for now, I want to leave you with my favourite of our past few weeks.
All right, so the next hot take is that every manager in the league will struggle with this squad.
Define struggle, because struggle to win the Premier League and compete in the Champions League, yeah, because the squad isn't good enough. Do I think this squad could do a lot better than what we're currently seeing and have seen for the past year?
Yeah, I agree.
So I actually, the question really should be is, would other managers in the league do a better job with this squad than Rúben Amorim? And my answer would be yes.
Yeah.
I think there's multiple other managers that have squads that on paper maybe aren't as good as the Manchester United squad, are getting better out of their players. I don't think we should be expecting anything crazy from this United squad. We have a lot of gaps. We don't have the wing backs to play the system that Amorim wants to play. We don't have the midfield to play the midfield we don't have the midfield to play the system Amorim wants to play. We only have one striker. I gather all that. We've got a young keeper in goal who looks really good so far, but still it's thin. But another manager would come in, change it to a 4-3-3. You've got a three-man midfield of Casemiro, Bruno and Kobbie Mainoo. Can play Mason Mount in there. You've got more structure. You can go to a back four where Dorgu would be better because he wouldn't need as much attacking output. You still need attacking output, but he'd be better. You could play Luke Shaw there. You've got centre-backs in De Ligt and Martinez who can work together. Mazraoui's a better right-back. Dalot, the best we've ever seen him at United, is a right-back. It's still not competitive.
Yeah.
But I think that team genuinely could push for Champions League. This team's nowhere near pushing for Champions League based off, and I don't want to be drastic, but that Everton game highlighted so many issues that we're gonna come up with in multiple times this season. And when we go to AFCON, when AFCON happens and then Mbeumo goes to AFCON and Ahmad goes to AFCON, we're in trouble because everything comes down that right hand side. And but other managers would find a solution to that. I see the likes of Areola at Bournemouth. I see the likes of Glasner at Crystal Palace, and a lot of people, most people would say United's squad is better than Bournemouth's, but Bournemouth are a better performing side than us. They can score way more goals than us. Yeah. Does Mbeumo get into Bournemouth's side? I think so, yeah.
Of course.
And does Cunha get into Bournemouth's side? Yeah. But they are the two better players in our squad. But what I'm saying is other managers are getting more out of what they've got than what Amorim's doing.
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly. And just to kind of wrap up quickly, the way I put it is pretty simple. From what I've seen from our players, have I seen more positives than I've seen from the manager? And for me, when I look at the players that people complain about, like for example, everyone said Mazraoui had a bad game. People have said that Casemiro or Bruno or Mainoo or Xerxes, I've seen more positive games from those players than I've seen positive matches from Amorim. So the way I look at it is, if you're going to blame one or the other, look at who's putting better performances overall. I think we can get better, way better out of the players that we have than I've seen from the manager. So that's how I put it. Every manager would struggle if they had this team. Beth, are you agreeing?
No. Like I've said multiple times, it's nowhere near a Premier League winning side, and it's I wouldn't say it's a nailed-on Champions League side at all, but it's a side that should be putting together better performances than what we're seeing. And I seen a comment before from one of the community, and I actually thought it was dead on. If we got sixth this season, but we were playing good football, we were scoring goals, it was tight games, good performances, you were seeing good patterns of play, I'd take that. I'm not expecting the world. Yeah. But it's bad performances and bad results. But, let's hope that we go on a huge winning streak, we get loads of points, we start seeing good football, and it all starts from confidence from Wolves. So
100%. Let's go through the team. We can discuss the players. Loads of conversations about obviously the manager and the players. Now we're going to have a little bit of time discussing each of the players that we think is going to be in our predicted 11, who we think Amorim is going to pick for this game against Wolves. Now, I mentioned it before. This is almost like I see this as like a glorified training session, if I'm being honest.
I don't.
I'm putting it on the line, but I think this is we're playing a League One team, Championship. Let me not be too rude. They're playing a Championship team right now. So whoever plays, the reason I'm saying that is whoever plays should be able to go out there and win. It shouldn't be a case of, why did we pick him? Why did Amorim pick him? Whoever he picks should be able to go out there and win this game with the right instructions from the manager. So let's start off in net. I always like to go through the ones that are kind of obvious. Seny Lamins, goalkeeper. Do we even need to discuss?
It should already just be written in.
Straight away.
Let's be real.
Seny Lamins in. Now the next player I want to talk about, he wasn't in the last game, De Ligt. He did have a little minor injury. The manager did say he should be back for today's game. But do you feel like from the parts of the game that you did watch, do you feel like there was something missing without De Ligt being in the team?
Yes. Like I said, I didn't see the first half, but when I actually woke up to watch the rest of the game, I had 5 different WhatsApps of people saying, from the second half that I watched, I thought you looked at it and I thought Lenny Yoro did actually pretty well, considering the circumstances. But Aiden Heaven in the first half, I didn't watch it, so I don't know. But I had like 5 messages of people saying, "Oh, Aiden Heaven, you know, he looks a little bit rusty, he looks a little bit shaky." So I think we did miss that experience of De Ligt in there.
Yeah, I think obviously, look, De Ligt compared to Aiden Heaven, it is a big difference. No one's expected them to be the same quality. No one thought they was going to be the same quality. From what I saw, anyway, in my opinion, Aiden Heaven started off a little bit too nervous, a little bit too rash. He was trying to like jump into challenges, and it felt like he was trying to impress pretty early on. But I actually think he warmed up into the game. The first, I say, 15 minutes were shaky, and then he started to get a little bit more comfortable. He was making some more good defensive actions, headers, etc. So I think having De Ligt back in the team is definitely a positive.
It's difficult, isn't it? He's a young player. He's been out of the team for a long time after that injury he got, and he's playing as central centre back, a big role in that team. He's coming in for De Ligt. He's been one of our best performers. I thought it was a really tough game to throw him into. Confidence for Amorim to do so, fair play. And like I said, I heard that he did grow into the game. So I do hope he gets more game time because I actually really like how good he is on the ball. And I think there's a real player in there. I actually really do, because from what I've seen of him, he looks like he's got some really good qualities. So I hope he gets time. But like I've said, with the Aiden Heaven, even the Euro at times, even though I think Euro's a bit more developed and should be playing some first team games, we should be in a situation where you have a stable back three and then you can allow them players to grow into being starters. You shouldn't be overly reliant on them. So I think De Ligt has been one of our best performing players of the season. If he is back, it's just nailed on that he has to go straight back in.
100%. Now, look, I'm going to go to the other 2 centre-backs. Now, Euro did play the second half of that game with Mazraoui and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw actually came off. It was a bit of a interesting substitution where he came off like the last 2 minutes of the game for Martinez. Now, I expected Martinez to get a little bit of minutes, but we did,
I'm not saying it's because of that. But
no, I'm pretty sure we conceded before that.
Was it?
Yeah. We conceded before that. He was like the last substitution.
Never
Luke
mind.
Shaw for Martinez.
My argument's gone.
But Luke Shaw obviously coming off for Martinez. Do you feel like that's going to be a substitution that's going to be made more often?
Pen's gone. I think it's one of them now where Martinez really will be breathing down Luke Shaw's neck.
Yeah.
I think Luke Shaw's done relatively well this season. He's had some games where maybe he's not been absolutely top class, but I think in the majority of the games that I've seen him play, I think he's been really, really good. I think he's been one of the best players on the pitch, and I know I get criticism every time I say that, but I really think he's had a good season so far, apart from a couple of off games, which is where the whole team has played poorly. But Leach Martinez, I think in that system, on that left side, will be a really, really good player and show that he can be a good player, sadly, before he got injured. So I think it's Luke Shaw's place to lose, but I think you'll see Martinez getting warmed up, coming off the bench, and then there'll be serious competition on Amorim's hands, whether it is Luke Shaw or Martinez in that role. But I think he's going to stick with Luke Shaw for now. That game he had at Selhurst against Crystal Palace was absolutely fantastic. So
yeah, 100%. I agree. I think it will definitely be Luke Shaw, but Martinez will be kind of in and around the team, especially going forward into the season. I will actually expect Martinez to start a game before the end of the season. I think at one point he will start a game.
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely, especially in the FA Cup and stuff like that. So
5 minutes till team news, by the way.
5 minutes. I mean, let's run through this team. Right side of centre back. Mazraoui, Lenny Yoro.
I'd go with Mazraoui, but on the United Stand TV, we have run some polls. That's our Instagram, at the United Stand TV. If you want to be involved in the polls, make sure you go over and follow us on Instagram. We did Yoro or Mazraoui, and it's 61% Yoro, 39% Mazraoui. I'd go Mazraoui, but I do think Yoro did well when I saw him against West Ham when he came off the bench. So I'd go Mazraoui, but what would you go?
I think it's a toss-up, I think Mazraoui did very well. I'm going to go based off what the people voted, which was
I was going to say, just ignoring me.
Oh, so they did vote Lenny Yoro, so I'm going to go based on what you guys think. But for me, it's just a toss-up anyway. I feel like you said, and I think Lenny Yoro did a great job when he came on. Yes, he did have a couple difficult games, but I'm not confident with Lenny Yoro, but I'm also very confident as well with Mazraoui. But this is the kind of game I mentioned before. Anyone who goes into this team should be able to do a good job. But I'm going to put Lenny Yoro, like I said, because you guys voted him in. Let's go to the next 2 positions. Let's go to the midfield. Little bit of a debate. I guess there's been so much talk about Mainoo this week for some reason, because obviously he didn't get to play in the West Ham game, and the Amorim press conference that came out where he kind of giggled when asked about him. In my opinion, look, I don't think there's even going to be a bit of a debate as to who starts in the midfield. It's still going to be Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. Are you agreeing?
Yeah, I'm agreeing that that's who Amorim will pick.
Yeah.
Whether I'd pick it is a different story. Just to bring in there, Fruit Jacks has put a really interesting comment in. Need to give Euro games as Mazraoui's going to AFCON. I think that's an interesting point. As good as Mazraoui is there, he will be going to AFCON and we need Lenny Yoro to be full of confidence for that role. So I think that's a good point. But regarding the midfield, I think Amorim, no doubt about it, is going to pick Bruno and Casemiro. Even if you wanted to pick Kobe, I think now that it's such... I mean, Amorim says he doesn't read the media or anything, so he doesn't see it. But I think it'd be very hard not to see the massive divide right now between people who think he's treating Kobe unfairly and the people that are backing Amorim over this. For me, I think he's treating Kobe massively unfairly, and I think Kobe, what he's had to go through, don't get me wrong, at United you're never guaranteed minutes, but he's literally getting next to nothing, and he's such a talented player, it frustrates me. I think Kobe should be playing, but I think Amorim will not back down on this.
I agree in a sense of, I think Amorim knows the conversations. I think that's why he even giggled. I think it's because he's like, I knew you were going to say that, like everyone's been talking about it.
Do you know what frustrated me? And I know we need to complete this because team news is upon us in 3 minutes. What frustrated me was when he laughed at Kobe Mainoo being an offensive sub. I know sometimes things happen in the heat of the moment and it wasn't meant in an offensive way, but let's rewind. Scored in FA Cup final to win us an FA Cup against City, one of the best teams around at the time. Scored, actually, in this fixture at the Molineux, last-minute winner. Actually, 4-3. Remember that? Rúben Neves had just scored and Kobe Mainoo goes and makes it 4-3. Brilliant goal. And also gets you into, a Europa League semi-final against Lyon. Came off the bench and scored a fantastic goal against Lyon at Old Trafford, which is brilliant. So Kobe Mainoo is an offensive sub, and I thought it was a little bit... I didn't like it when he laughed at that because he's not only done it to win us a trophy, but he's done it for you as well to get you into Europa League semi-final, which I think, really helped him out in his position of Manchester United manager that summer.
Yeah,
but anyway.
It also doesn't make sense because I've heard Amorim say before that he likes Kobe in the 10. So if you like Kobe in the 10, how can that not be an offensive sub?
He obviously doesn't like Kobe in the 10 because he's not played him there all season, barely.
He changed his mind. But look, let's get back onto the rest of the team. The two wing backs, I'm going to let you pick both of them. Assuming Ahmad's going to be one of them. Who's going to be on the other side for you?
It'll be Ahmad and Dalot.
Ahmad and Dalot, right?
Dalot played well against West Ham. And this is another thing I didn't get. The one time this season where Dalot has a really good performance, he subs in. Yeah, when he's playing poorly, he doesn't sub him. It's weird. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, look, we've got a couple minutes till team news. Let us know in the comments. Are you agreeing with this team so far? This is who we think Amorim's going to pick, by the way, not our personal. This is who we think Amorim's going to pick. The three forward positions, there is a little bit of a debate here, other than Brian Mbeumo, let's be honest. He's going to go straight into the team. But the other two positions, I have to see Cunha playing this game. I
think it'll be Cunha and Xerxes.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're saying Cunha down the middle, Xerxes down the middle?
Xerxes down the middle.
Xerxes down the middle, okay. And why not Mason Mount? Speak on that.
I mean, I'd like to see Mason Mount play, but he didn't start him in the last game. And then when he came on, he didn't really do much, did he, to kind of cement himself into the starting lineup. So I think he'll play Cunha. I think Cunha against Wolves at the Molineux, it's his old hunting ground. It's his old club. He should have... I mean, he's always up for it, Cunha, but he should be extra up for it today. So he's kind of been in and out of good form. His Liverpool game was fantastic, man of the match. But apart from that, this season, he's not been the Cunha from Wolves that we wanted to see. So I think this could be a real opportunity against a side that has 2 points in the Premier League. His old club, he'll be up for it. It's a real opportunity for him to kind of kickstart his season properly. So I think man management, the man management side of Amorim should start Cunha today. And as much as Cunha has been hit and miss, I enjoy watching him play football. So I want to see him play.
100%. I mean, look, it's 2:45.
Oh, the team will be out. We did it just in time.
Literally just in time.
Step back a little bit more so everyone can see.
Go on. Yeah, there's the team.
That's the team. Just to be clear, this isn't the team we would pick. It's the team that we think Amorim is going to pick. So how close are we? Wow, we have not got it right. Right, okay. Oh, I nearly went with that front three as well. But anyway, so the team is everybody. Manchester United starting lineup tonight at the Molineux to face Wolves is Seny Laarmans in goal. You have a back three of Mazraoui, Aidan Heaven and Luke Shaw. So it's the same back three that's it's the same back three that started against West Ham. You then have your two midfielders as I'm joking. Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. Your two wing-backs are Ahmad and Dalot. And then you have your front three of Mbeumo, Cunha and Mason Mount. So I don't know if it'll be Mount up front or Cunha up front. I'd probably say it'd be Cunha up front with Mount in the 10. So Xerxes is not in the starting 11 and De Ligt isn't in the starting 11. They are the two players that we got wrong. Oh, and also Lenny Yoro isn't in the starting 11. It is Mazraoui, which we did suspect, to be fair. So, I mean, we'll get the subs and we'll get Wolves' team in a second as well, as we do have Wolves fan about to join us.
So you said the back, can you read the team again? Sorry, the back three. I want to know the back three.
You want to know the back three? The back three is Mazraoui, Aidan Heaven and Luke Shaw.
Oh, okay, cool.
What do you think? Do you want me to read the whole team again?
Yeah, go on. Read it out again.
Because you know what, when the team first gets read, you're a bit excited, you're looking out for certain names. So back to front, Seny Lamans, Mazraoui, right-sided centre-back, Aidan Heaven, central centre-back, Luke Shaw, left-sided centre-back. Your wing-backs are Ahmad and Dalot. Two midfielders, Casemiro and Bruno. Then you've got a front three of Mbeumo, Cunha and Mason Mount. Okay,
interesting. I mean, the first kind of names that I'm thinking of, obviously Aidan Heaven back in the team. Mm-hmm. I remember, obviously, I say you really like him, but he must have a little bit of confidence in him because, again, I think Yoro, like you said before, Yoro when he came on did pretty well. So, and he probably did better than Aidan Heaven did in the first half. So for him to kind of go back with Aidan Heaven,
just put it out there, De Ligt actually isn't in the squad, so he must still be injured.
Yeah.
But Lenny Yoro's in the squad. The bench, I'll just get the bench out there. It's Bainde, Dorgu, Malacia, Martinez, Yoro, Mainu, Ugarte, Lacey and Xerxes. So Xerxes has essentially been dropped, really.
I think it's tough to say dropped, you know.
Yes,
it's Mason Mount. It's not like he's taking him out for like a random academy player.
But he's still been dropped to the bench for Mount.
I don't call that.
Rotated then. He's been rotated.
To me, there's a difference between being dropped and rotated.
Right. Right. We have this argument all the time. Mbeumo's not going to be replaced, is he?
But if Mbeumo didn't play a random Carabao Cup game, that's not him getting dropped.
This isn't a random Carabao Cup game.
It's Wolves, though.
Yeah, but it's still a game he has to win. If he doesn't win today, he's in trouble.
So you think Xerxes not playing because he thinks Xerxes not capable of winning this game?
He'd rather play Mason Mount.
I don't think it's that.
I just think Mason Mount's a very good player. He's not going to drop
Bruno.
He's not going to drop Mbeumo. He's not going to... Xerxes, he's been dropped, essentially.
I don't think he's dropped, you know. I think Xerxes just started the last, 2-3 games or whatever it is.
Okay, fairs. But you wouldn't rotate Mbeumo, would he?
But you're talking about a different class of player, though. Like, I'm talking about Mason Mount and Xerxes. I think they're two players where I'm sitting there thinking, who should I start today? You're not sitting there thinking, should I start Mbeumo? That name's printed on a team sheet before he even gets it. I think he looks at Xerxes and Mount, and even players like Lenny Yoro and all these kind of guys, and even Dorgu and Dalot, and they're the decisions that he makes based on the game. Well, he should be doing that anyway.
He thinks Mount is a better chance to win this game than Xerxes.
What did he think last game, then?
Either Mount had a knock that we don't know about, or he thought that the opposite.
That's what I mean. So I think he just bases it on the game. He just looked at the game and thought, Xerxes started a few games, Mount hasn't started a few games, let me just put Mount in the team today.
But you're never going to base it on a game and say, based on this game, I think Xerxes should start instead of Mbeumo.
No, but you can't compare Mbeumo to... I just think he's just thought, Mount is good enough to start a game, Xerxes is good enough to start a game, I'm just going to pick Mount today over Xerxes and bring Xerxes on.
I agree with you, Mordzs. I don't really, but I'll say I do.
I don't think he's been dropped. I don't think it's that deep. Like, I don't think Xerxes was bad enough to say, I can't play today. I don't think you're going to be able to beat Wolves. I don't think
No, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's sat there saying to Xerxes, you're not good enough to not be in the team for Wolves. He's just thinking Mount is probably a better player to play in this game.
Fair enough.
We'll go with that.
Fair enough.
Should we go with that?
Let's go with that.
So, anyway, the United team has been read out. We'll read over it in a second, but we do have Jordan Russell joining us very shortly from Talking Wolves. So we want to give you the Wolves team news as well, so you guys know what team you are facing. Manchester United are facing, and the Wolves team news is as followed: Johnston, Hover, Mascara, Agbadu, Totti, Wolf, Andre, Krejci, Balligard, Arias and Strand Larson. Back five, 4 centre-backs and 1 striker for Wolves today. Rob Edwards fully going defensive mode at the Molineux. Can you blame him?
He's going to have to. I mean...
To be fair, though, if you keep United out, there's always a chance. Yeah. So it's probably the right tactic from him.
Yeah, no, it probably is, to be fair.
If you don't let us have a chance, which United aren't the best at creating open play chances anyway, if he got to like 70th, 80th minute at 0-0, he'd be absolutely buzzing. One, he'd be buzzing with a point, but United will always give you a chance in a game. So I think it's probably the right tactic, to be fair. But we'll see more from Jordan Sue and the Wolves fan that will be joining us and see what he thinks.
Yeah.
But do you think would you have picked Mount today? Do you think Mount has earned his spot in that 11?
Like I said, like it's coming up against a team like Wolves, knowing that they've not scored in 5 games, knowing that they've conceded, they've not kept a clean sheet in 10 games. The team, it's hard to kind of say, oh, I think this player will stop this or this player will stop that. I think you just kind of put out a team that you think is good enough to just play on the day. And I think Xerxes is good enough to play on the day. I think Mason Mount's good enough to play on the day. Cunha, Mbumo, Casemiro, Dorgu, Dallo, whoever. I think all these guys are good enough to play on a day against Wolves. So I don't think it's a case of, oh, you know what, Mount, you've really earned this start today. I think he's just a good enough player to play against Wolves. So you kind of just put in, I said before when I started the tactics board, no, I wouldn't be surprised at any player today. I wouldn't be shocked or annoyed at any player who's starting.
Is Mainu good enough to start?
Oh, I mean, let's ask our guest.
Free Cobby.
Free Cobby. It just doesn't. Like you said in it, like I didn't expect him to start today. I don't think Amorim's gonna give in to the public, to what everyone's been saying about Cobby Mainoo. He was never gonna start him because I feel like that kind of makes Amorim. That kind of makes people think that they have a little bit of a say in what Amorim's team is. If Amorim goes in and starts Cobby after all the conversation, I don't think Amorim wants that. I think he wants to kind of keep that authority almost, that, you know what, I'm in charge, so I'm going to pick you out when I pick. So yeah, I think even though Cobby could have easily played today, he was never going to start.
Do you reckon he'll come off the bench?
Honestly, if he doesn't get a minute today, I think he should just let him go in January. Like, don't even bother playing him first of December.
I think he should get at least 20 minutes today.
Yeah, 20 minutes, whatever it is. But if he can't get a minute against Wolves, oh my gosh. Like, if he can't just say, you know what, Cobby Mainoo is good enough to play a game against Wolverhampton Wanderers this season, he must think he's absolutely horrible. Like,
do you know what worries me as well? And I'm going to bring some of your super chats in because I know there's so many coming in, and I can't wait to read some of them out to everyone, discuss them. But people will say I'm player FC for this, but I don't agree with them. I can't bear the thought of losing Cobby Mainoo, who I genuinely think could potentially be at some point in time a world class player, because of Amorim's stubbornness, and then, based off the evidence of the past year, Amorim eventually does go. I mean, if Amorim managed to turn it around and go and win, multiple titles with United and becomes, that manager that we all wanted him to be, fair play. But based on the past year of evidence, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and if Amorim ends up going anyway, we've lost Cobby Mainoo, who eventually becomes a world-class player, who is Manchester through and through, even despite how little time he's getting currently. He's only asking for a loan. He doesn't want to move permanently away from Manchester United. He's been there all of his life. He knows what it's like coming up through the academy. He's only asking for a loan. If we end up losing him permanently, and then Amorim isn't a success, I'll be so gutted.
Yeah, honestly. People say the whole Play FC thing. I actually don't care. Like, I'll happily say I'm playing. If that's what it's called.
Mainoo's won me an FA Cup.
If that's what it's called, to have a favourite player, or to have a player that I think is good enough to play for my team, call me Player FC all you want. That's what, end of the day, like, is that not how we all grew up as fans? Did we not all, when we were younger, did we not all have favourite players that we thought, I want to see him play because I like him? Even though we want the team to win, you have players that you just like more than other players, and you just want them to play football. And that's what it is with Cobby Mainoo. I just like Cobby Mainoo more than other players, so I want him to play. I don't see why that's such a crazy thing to say. Like, why would you want Cobby to play? It's not like we're winning every game. If we were winning every single game and we were playing amazing football and Cobby was on the bench, I'd say, you know what? Fair enough. Yeah. United are actually playing a sick football. We're in the top 4, whatever it is, and Mainoo's not playing. Fair enough. We're actually doing better without him. I hold my hands up. We won 13 games in 13 months. There's no excuse you can give me to say that, you know what, United are playing far better football with Mainoo off the pitch than we are with Mainoo on the pitch. That's not. I can't admit that. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone else can admit that either.
And you know what as well? Mainoo gave me that feeling at Wembley in the FA Cup final. When Amorim gives me a feeling like that, then I'll start to kind of understand why he's benched him, because obviously you're playing good football and you're winning games and really important games as well. But I kind of echo I echo what you say there. We've got loads of super chats to get into, so let's get through some of them here. Keep putting your opinions in, guys. We really love to hear them and bring them into the show. Andres Gomez says, watch this manager traumatise Shea Lacey by giving him his first start against Villa. To be honest with you, I would like to see in this game, I would like to be in a position, and United should be in a position, where United are like 2 or 3-0 up. Actually, I'd probably say 3-0 up. And you can bring on Shea Lacey for a debut today. Been on the bench last few games. I mean, I would have brought him on against West Ham or even against Everton. I would have thrown him in. You never know what can happen. Sir Alex has done that in the past and it's been successful. No risk, no reward. But I'd really like for us to be in a position in today's game where you can bring on Shea Lacey. But as much as I think you should be 3-0 up against a side that has 2 points in the Premier League, I actually don't think United will be in that position based off what we've seen this season, but I hope I'm wrong. Also, just a bit of breaking news, Manchester United in the FA Cup draw have got Brighton at home.
Wow.
Thoughts? Everyone get your thoughts in on Brighton at home.
Beat them.
Tough game.
We did beat them.
They'll be out for revenge.
It was a bit of a, it was another one of those games where it's a game of two halves, or I think we were 3-0 up, and then was that based on the, I can't remember, it was based on the subs or something happened.
That's probably the best game we've played this season, actually.
I think we were 3-0 up, and then it ended up being like 3-2, and then Boomer had that last, and then Boomer got that last goal to make it 4-2. So I think it's a game that we can definitely win because we have beat them already this season. But yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult. Danny Roberts probably going to get a goal, let's be honest.
Already put the 1-0 deficit on us.
Yeah, just put your bets in. But
out of all the teams we could get, that's a toughie. But do you know what? We've done it before, so you know. You got to be able to beat these teams if you want to win. If you want to win trophies. Yeah. Shannon says, to be fair, some people are manager FC. Good point. You have Chris says they got more strikers on the pitch than we do, though. Montese says, I see another Manu situation with Yoro. I hope not. Joey, I think he's just taking him out the limelight a bit now, which I think actually is probably, to be fair to Amorim, probably a good move. And
it does kind of help as well with like Aiden having, at least you can give Aiden some kind of minutes as well. I think you'll take him off at half time again. I don't think it'd be like Aiden's not playing good enough, that's why he's come off at half time. I think the plan is to kind of just go 45-45.
I think it's nice to show, Aiden he's got faith in him still after the last game. Yeah. Joey Solly says, can I take you out for dinner, Beth, when you come to Cali? It depends on what sort of dinner it is, Joey.
Shoot your shot, man.
I don't know when I'll next be in California, but it depends what type of dinner it is. If it's just like a nice little Friends United talk, then why not? Chris J, 85, says, no issue with giving Heaven another chance. Shaheen says, Manu also scored against Liverpool. Yeah. Rob McCormack says, might actually play well now. Here's my fellow Mount lover, Rob McCormack. Do you think I'm, Mason Mount,
you are.
Player FC or whatever? I'm not. I just think United play better football when he's on the pitch.
I agree.
You agree? Nice one, Mods. Rob McCormack is actually the leader of Mount,
shout out
the Mount fan club. And Rob McCormack knows ball, can I just say? He does. Yeah. And we actually talk a lot on X about this, about how much Mason Mount does impact the way we play. So thank you, Robert. Thank you for your super chat. Minnie says, Amorim is visibly losing confidence and self-belief, a decline reflected both in the team's poor performance and the disheartened tone of his post-match interviews. Got a bit riled up, Amorim, in his last press conference, didn't it? It's the first time I've seen him really agitated. Carl Anker, bless him. Got a few questions asked of him by Amorim, but I don't think Carl's question was crazy. He was true. Yeah. And I thought it was fair play with him to actually, kind of challenge the manager, because he had said that previously in his press conference. But what did you think of Amorim there? Do you think that was just his frustration coming out?
Yeah, definitely. He is going to be frustrated because in them kind of games as well, Amorim's probably watching it thinking, you know what? We're going to get this win. We're 1-0 up. We potentially could get another goal, but as long as it stays like this and nobody makes any mistakes, we should be able to win the game. And then in the 80 whatever minute it was, we go and concede, and obviously everyone looks straight at him. I can understand why as a manager you're going to look at that and be frustrated, but at the same time it's part of the job. End of the day, your job is to kind of do press conferences, especially being the Manchester United manager. You're going to have so much more light on you. There's so much more responsibility. There's so much more attention on you. He must have known this before he came in the job. So I can't say I feel sorry for him, but I can understand why he's frustrated.
James Cave says, initially I loved Amorim's brutal honesty about players, but it hasn't got a reaction for over a year. Will he be able to get them motivated? I mean, that's it's a question that a few people have asked, is it Amorim's job to get the players motivated? Should they already be motivated? But he's the manager of the team. RDLY Music, don't know if you've seen my other super chat before, but so nice to have people together, even if it's once a month. I don't know what that's referring to, but I'll look for your other super chat in a second. But we can't wait any longer because I need to hear the opposition fans' viewpoint on this. And I really want to see what Jordan Russell has to say from Talking Wolves. Jordan, what are your thoughts? I'm sorry, there is only 2 points on the Premier League table for you guys so far this season, but what are your thoughts on Wolves? What are your thoughts of the recent appointment of Rob Edwards? Talk to me.
Well, what is there to say when you're on 2 points, right? It's not been very good. I probably can't swear on here, so I won't. So it's not been very good, right? It's been really a very tormented start of the season for us. Season on season, we've lost a lot of quality at the squad. I think the reinvestment from the ownership has sort of really severely let us down. And I always feel in the Premier League, if you stand still for too long, you get swallowed up, right? And I think that's just what's happening to us right now. You've seen it with Southampton and yesteryear, Leicester, more recently as well, where people and other teams come and pick up your prized assets, and then you get left with a carcass really of a football team that just simply aren't good enough for the level. So yeah, we're on 2 points. I think we deserve to be on 2 points, and as it stands right now, I don't see it getting any better anytime soon, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, we've been complaining quite a lot about Manchester United's performances and results, but I can't imagine what it's like to be a Wolves fan right now. It must be really, really disheartening. We know that there has been some protest planned by Wolves fans today at the Molineux before the game and after the game. Could you give us a bit of insight on that?
Yeah, so there's been stuff going on from 6:45. So as the player coaches have come into the ground, I know there's been some sort of protests of fans getting outside the coaches, singing for the ownership to get them out. And actually, it's during the game, not actually after the game as well, in terms of the protests. So the first 15 minutes of the game tonight, Wolves fans are being urged not to go into the seats. So there'll be Wolves fans in the concourse and waiting outside the ground. So it's been decided really this game is the right time to do it. Playing Man United, obviously with that worldwide reach, it's a prime time game across the globe on a Monday night slot for us, but be prime time for a lot of these other countries. And I think fans have just had enough, really. They want to make their voices heard. And I think actually, it'll look a bit weird on TV for the first 15 minutes. And it's not that fans have chosen not to go because they're giving up on the team. It's more so they're giving up on the ownership model, to be honest with you. So fans will start pouring in 15 minutes into the game. But it'll look very empty for those first 15 minutes on the TV cameras later.
Yeah, it must be frustrating because you have lost some really, really good players. I mean, we've taken one of them in Mateus Cunha, who we will speak about very shortly. But other teams do face this. Like you see Crystal Palace losing the likes of Eze, Elise, soon to probably lose Mark Gahey, maybe Adam Wharton as well. And this happens to teams, but Brighton happens to Brighton with Moises Caicedo, Cucurella, etc. But they've got a really good scouting network that brings these new talents in. Do you think that's maybe it Wolves that's kind of started to dwindle a little bit? Because João Gomez, for example, was a good player that you've brought in, but you're just not seeing the reinvestment that you make that from the money that you're making from these players into the team.
Yeah, so I think the frustration with Wolves fans is you look at sort of pre-COVID. When we first come up into the league, we were beating teams like don't want to rub it in, but obviously did the double against you, beat you in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, got to semi-finals. Got into the Europa League quarter-final as well. And actually at that point, I think Fosen came in and they were making a real impact and a real statement on wanting to break the big six. And I think actually over the years, they've just realised the money you've got to pump into that investment is just, it's too much, right? And it's not sustainable without any sort of guaranteed success. So they've almost retracted. And I think what's killed us over the last few years is that previously, when we have sold our better players, we would go and reinvest that money in terms of actually go and reinvest the money you sold and then pump even more money into it. Over sort of the last 3-4 seasons, there's been a regression at the football club where I think we finished 13th, 14th, 16th, and now obviously we're on 2 points this season. But you're looking over the last 4 years, if you look at a combined Wolves team over the last 4 or 5 years, and you make a team up, and you'd have an unbelievable team that could compete in the top 6 still in this league. You lose Neves, Neto, Nunes, Jota, Jimenez has gone, Adama Traore. There's so many players that could keep going on, right, in terms of the quality that we've lost. And the thing in the summer was frustration is actually the money that we made from selling Mateus Cunha and Ryan Aït-Nouri they actually invested that money back into the playing squad. They didn't put any of their own money in. We invested all the money we got in, but we just spent it extremely poorly. We spent over £120 million on players coming from different leagues, never played in the Premier League before. John Arias, for example, was a player that was highly, heavily touted from the Club World Cup. We thought he'd be a good player for us, and he's come in his first, let alone in England, first club in Europe at the age of 29, and expecting him to give us the numbers that Matheus Cunha gave us last season. It's just not worked at all, really. And I think that's why you're seeing the protests this evening, that fans have just had enough, really. Sounds
a little bit like what, obviously yours is on a more drastic scale because you're facing horrible relegation, but it sounds a little bit how Manchester United fans were really frustrated with our ownership, because we weren't spending a lot of money in the transfer window, obviously on a much bigger scale, but we were spending it wrong, and that's something that we've been frustrated about for a long time. Started to pick up a little bit with our signings, but one of them signings actually that fans were really, really happy with was Cunha this season. You know him very well. What do you make of the player? What sort of players United signed, just from like a Wolves perspective?
I mean, as a player, for us, he was a magician, right? He was definitely a maverick. And I think by the end of his Wolves tenure, I think he sort of, I don't want to say let himself down, but he started, I think he started playing for a move away. And again, you can't really begrudge him that, right? In terms of when a club like Man United come for you, you kind of get it. But he was flirting with that move from probably like last Christmas. I know there's rumours before we played you at Molineux around December last year about Cunha leaving. But yeah, he let himself down a little bit with Wolves fans with some of his off-the-field antics, if I'm being completely honest with you. But Matheus Cunha, the player for Wolves, is probably one of, if not the most talented players I've seen play for us. He could get the ball, he could drive forward, he could score goals from anywhere, create things out of nothing. And he was much, much better than what we were and what we could offer him last season, and definitely what we could have offered him this season. And other than some of the off-the-field antics, for me, he was a great player, and he'd outgrown us, right? So I don't begrudge him that. And it is what it is, right?
Yeah, just quickly before Mordzs comes in with a question, because I know he's got something to ask you, but I just wanted to ask you, because for me, when I watched a lot of Cunha when he was at Wolves, and he signed for us, and he's been played in multiple different positions. He is quite a versatile player, but in Wolves he's played as a striker, but he's also played behind the striker. What do you think is his best position?
So his best numbers would definitely come in sort of in a number 10 position off the left-hand side. Yeah. So when he first came to Wolves under Lopetegui, we did play him up front. That was more so like a needs must, because he came in and his only competition at the time was a 34-year-old Diego Costa, who signed on a free. So we had to play him there, to be fair. But we had creative players that could play in and around him. We still had at that point Neto, Podence, I'm trying to think who else we had. Neves still around there, so we had creative players around there. I think his best numbers were definitely last season, where we had Jorgen Strand Larsen, who's a big, tall striker, and he sort of played off him a little bit. And I think actually he was much better getting the ball a little bit deeper, driving with the ball. And I think from a Man United perspective, of what I've watched you this season, when I see him playing as that central striker, I think he looks a little lost. I just don't think you're utilising him correctly.
I agree.
The problem is with Man United is, I think, you've had Sesko get injured. He didn't really fancy Xerxes. You've been putting Mount in there. You've got a lot of sort of number 10s, but no one who wants to be that sort of battering ram number 9 to play off. And that's where you get the best out of Matheus Cunha, if you've got like a bit of a battering ram when we can sort of lay the ball into his feet and play off him a little bit. So, yeah, if you can sort of get that profile of player into the club, you'll definitely see the best of Matheus Cunha at that point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, we just spoke about, obviously, Cunha, a player who I say unfortunately for you, but fortunately for us, took off you. There's another player that's kind of been rumours around, Gomez. Potentially us kind of going after him in January, literally next month. He's not playing today for you guys. I'm not, obviously don't know the ins and outs on what's going on with that, but what is the situation with him with that, with obviously not being able to play, but also how important is he to your team, and do you think he'll be able to do well for us as well?
Yeah, so he's not playing tonight because he picked up his 5th yellow card against in our last game, right? So it's just that's the reason why he's missing out. There's no injury concerns. There's no rumours of him going, right, in terms of anything concrete from our side. But yeah, he's a good player. He's a very good player. I think he, in terms of from like what you'd expect from him, he's very much like sort of a ball winner. He does the dirty work. He gets his foot stuck in. I would say liken him to like a mini Casemiro in that sort of sense. He'd have more legs than sort of, well, then again, Casemiro seems to have had a resurgence this year, right? But definitely the Casemiro of last year, yeah, in terms of, yeah, it'd definitely be the legs for Casemiro in that mould. And again, like, I think he's probably a player that's sort of outgrown us. Him and Andre both been in the Brazil squads in recent years. They're both very, very good players technically. Does it necessarily work when you're playing both together? Not when you haven't got quality. In terms of before last season, they'd be able to win the ball, break it up, and then give it off to players such as Cunha, who then drive with the ball right in the ring. We get up the pitch. Where we haven't got that outlet at the moment with those technical players to be able to drive the ball up, it's a bit samey in the middle there. So actually, from a Wolves perspective, Ladislav Krejci is going into midfield tonight, he's looked our best player, to be fair, since we signed him in the summer. It'll give it a different dynamic in the midfield. But in terms of João Gomez, in terms of could he make the step up and play for Man United, absolutely. I think he could go and play for most clubs in the world. And I know that sounds daft when you talk about a team that are 20th with 2 points, but it's not a reflection on João Gomez, the player. I think it's more so the situation, scenario he's got himself in, right? So, yeah, he definitely could make that step up for you.
Because we've been talking for ages about getting a new midfielder in, conversation around, Elliot Anderson, Baleba, Wharton, Stiller, all these kind of players. So are you pretty much saying that if we were to get João Gomez, he could walk into our team straight away and make it better?
I think he would probably sit behind Casemiro for the rest of the season, maybe.
Okay.
But but in terms of, I do think he could come in and play. But the problem is, you'd probably want to play him and Casemiro next to each other in that pivot. But he seems like Amorim really likes Bruno in there. And I think for me, again, outside watching in, Bruno should be playing further up the pitch, right? So,
I agree.
It's funny,
yes,
everyone can see that.
It's funny because Ricky's just walked in and literally just like you said it, basically one of the guests, he just said that Bruno should be playing further forward instead of playing in midfield. But I mean, let's talk a little bit on United. I'm sure you've probably seen a few of our games. I want to kind of touch on certain...
So can I ask a quick question on the back of you before you say that? I want to ask, and would you rather have a midfield pivot if Bruno and Casemiro or Andre and João Gomez?
In terms of, because we've played, again, like I think if you put them together in a functional team, I think they could do a better job as a pair if it then allows Bruno to play further forward. If that makes, I'm not comparing them as.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because as players, like Bruno is obviously a fantastic player.
Yeah.
But in that specific role, a double pivot, do you think that they would work better collaboratively?
I personally think so. Then when you've got players in front of them like Mbeumo, Fernandes, Cunha, who can then go and get the ball and drive forward, yeah, they could do a great job for it. But yeah, I can't sit here honestly with a straight face and say I'd take them over Bruno and Casemiro on this year when we're sitting 20th with 2 points on the table. But they are both better than Wolves, and they'll both be at bigger clubs than Wolves come the summer.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, because we've been debating already throughout the whole show about Amorim. What is your opinion on the sense of what is the problem that you feel like Amorim is having so far at United? Is it a tactical issue? Is it a player issue? Does he need to get new players in? What do you think it is? Is it management, in-game management, player management? What do you think it is?
I mean, like from the outside looking in, I'd just say stubbornness is killing him, right? I mean, we've had a stubborn manager who's the best manager in my lifetime in Nuno, but he was stubborn in a way that we had the players that fit the system, and he brought players and the profiles of players to play the system. I think what Amorim's doing is playing a style and system that he's obviously started bringing in his own players, but a lot of that squad I don't think suit what you're trying to do right now. I think when we as Wolves were really sort of at the top of our games, talking 4 or 5 years ago, you've got to have pace on the break. You've got to be able to hit teams. And I look at that Man United team, and there is pace in certain aspects of the team, but I just don't think you go from back to front quick enough on in the transition with that formation. So when you're playing like West Ham at home or even Everton the week before against 10 men, as soon as the team puts a low block in front of you and you're persistent in that sort of formation with the lack of pace to sort of stretch the game behind anymore, it sort of kills you, right? Because then you're playing in front of them, you're not hurting teams. And again, is it a system and a style of football that a club like Manchester United should be wanting to play, or a manager should be trying to play with Man United? I'm not necessarily sure. If you're winning football games, you can get away with it. But when you're not winning football games, which you aren't really at the moment, let's be honest with you, it's tough to sort of say that what Amorim's trying to do with you right now is the right formation going forward.
Do you expect that's how Rob Edwards will set up today? Do you think he will try and play that low block, get everyone behind the ball and try and nullify Manchester United from being able to open you up? Because I was looking at your lineup and it kind of seemed that way. And when I think about it, that's exactly how I would probably approach United right now, because we will always give a team a chance. So do you expect that's how he's going to set up?
Yeah, but again, I think it's more so it's the only thing he can do, right? I think there's a massive sort of lack of quality in the squad and a massive lack of self-belief in the squad at the moment as well. The first half against Forest, Rob Edwards berated the team just because they were scared to play. And that's what happens when you're losing football games. So I think the only way we can play is actually to sit in and maybe try and get a bit plucky and do something on the counter. What I will say is under Edwards, it has improved in terms of defensive. We look a lot more assured, look a lot more like a cohesive unit. And I think actually the back three, it's the third game that started together now, and they hadn't started together before under any of the managers. So you've got Aguado, Mosquera and Totti, who are all three very physical, quick centre halves. They'll be imposing. And it allows us to play that slightly bit higher up the pitch. What will kill Wolves is, though, we just haven't got that creative spark. I don't think to actually hurt Man United. I likened us to on our podcast as a blunt spoon, and that's being kind. We just haven't got anything going forward, unfortunately. So yeah, we might be able to keep in the game for 45 to 60 minutes, but I think as soon as you score, because you will score against us tonight, we are like a kids team at the moment. As soon as one goal goes in, heads go down, heads drop, and there's just no comebacks. So I love them to prove me wrong, but I just can't see it tonight.
Well, that brings me on to my next kind of final questions. The first one is, if you could take one Manchester United player and put them into the Wolves side, who would you take?
Can only take one.
Yeah, you can only take one. Sometimes opposition fans come on here and say, I don't want any, so...
But again, when you got 2 points, you take all 18, 19 out of your squad, to be fair, that's there today. I think for me, I mean, Cunha for obvious reasons. I'm a big fan of Mbeumo as well. I think he's been a good player in this league for consistency. And that's the one thing, again, when it comes to Wolves recruitment over the last few years, we've never bought, or we very rarely buy sort of Premier League hardened players. And I think that was the one thing that I'd say that Amorim and Man United have done right, where I think you got your recruitment wrong over the last few years. Is you went and got Cunha, you've gone and got Mbeumo, and that gives you half a chance, right, in terms of, they both got great numbers last season, but they also know the league a little bit. So I think it gives you a good chance of actually, trying to get further up that league.
And then, this might be difficult because I know you're on 2 points and you're not playing the way that you want to be, but an underrated player that United fans should maybe watch out for, who would you say is underrated from your team that you think is a good player? If you can think of one.
Yeah, again, I think from tonight, and purely because he's come back from injury and he's actually replacing Joe Gomez tonight, is Ladislav Krejci. So he's someone that we've signed in the summer from Spain, from La Liga. He's a Czech Republic international. He can play centre half or in centre midfield. He's going to be playing centre midfield tonight. He's left-footed. He's quite cultured. And again, he's been sort of, I don't even say shining star. He's just been a little bit of glimmer of hope in a black hole of an abyss of a season so far. In terms of one to watch out for that probably a lot of Man United fans won't know a lot about, I'd say Krejci's probably that player. Thank
you very much. You've given me some information there. I'm going to go into that game watching him a little bit. So thank you for that. And then lastly, score prediction.
Honestly, like I say, the fans aren't going to be in there for the first 15 minutes, and I think we could be quite easily be 2-0 down by that point. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic.
Have you watched us this season?
Well, yeah. Have you watched us? More importantly. So no, I think it'll be 2-0 to Man United. To be honest with you, and I think if it is 2-0 with Manchester United as well, from our perspective, again, it's bleak, and there's a bigger problem at the football club and a bigger reason of tonight's game, right? That we want to get that sort of the message out worldwide that the ownership's sort of letting us down. That's the biggest result for us tonight. If we can show that on a worldwide scale, then for me as a fan, I think that's that's a win in itself, right? But yeah, as it comes to the game, I think 2-0. I think it'd be pretty comfortable for you, and I think Cunha will score.
Sorry, I was about to say I would love that. But I feel bad because I'm talking to you. No, but Jordan, you've given some really great insight there. You've been a fantastic guest. You really have. Like a lot of the community have mentioned how good of a guest that you've been and the information you've given us. So thank you so much for taking your time and coming to speak to us. And like I said, you've one, given me much needed confidence that I feel like I needed going into this game. But two, it's not nice to see Wolves in the position that they are. As much as tonight I do want to beat you, and unfortunately, like I do think that we want to carry on Wolves' losing streak tonight. For the rest of the season, I do hope things get better for you guys, because as a fan, I know how terrible it can be. Like every week, kind of hoping you see something from your team, you just don't see that. So, but thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate it. And where can everybody find you if they want to go and see more?
Yeah, so we're at Talking Wolves on all socials, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. So yeah, if anything Wolves news or Wolves related, please follow us on there. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
He's honest.
Yeah, you're seeing a fan who is even more downbeaten than a lot of United fans right now. So you could be in that position. Things could always be worse, but. Again, like he said, there's no excuse for United not to beat Wolves today. We've got some super chats to get into as well, Mords, that have been flowing in while Jordan was talking. A great guest. You have Jack Davis saying, why have you got a system manager that can't see that one player he insists on kills his own system? Bruno kills the system, Cunha and Mbeumo. Stephen says, Player FC is the biggest issue killing this club. After the Glazers, we are trigger hungry to fire coaches rather than be patient, then retrospectively regret it. I don't even want to bite.
I'm not biting.
I don't even want to bite. But how is it trigger hungry when it's been a year of nothingness? But you know what, Stephen? Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. Simply Red says, Cunha, opinion from a Wolves fan. Why is he struggling for us? Because we're playing him not in his right position a lot of the time as well. Like, watching him at Wolves and then just kind of having it validated by Jordan there. He's better in behind the striker, and oftentimes he's changing position so much. He's so much better carrying the ball back to front and playing off a striker rather than being that striker. Raphael says, have supported this channel since you were on 30,000 subscribers. Today I get to watch my brother play against the club I've supported all my life. What a night for me. Wow, Raphael.
Who's his brother? He must play for Wolves,
who is your brother?
Should we try and guess?
Yeah, it must be a Wolves player. Raphael, if you can... By the way, thank you so much for your super chat, and thank you for supporting from 30,000 subscribers. If you could let us know who your brother is, we would absolutely love to bring that in. So I need to go and have a look at the starting lineup, because there might be a clue in your name there.
Oh, there he is.
Tolu.
It must be. He's got the same last name, so.
Yeah. Wolves has found it. Mordzs has found it.
Yeah, it's Tolu. He's on the bench, but he might come on.
I would love to see him come on. Thank you so much, Raphael, there for your super chat. And as much as we want United to win, good luck to your brother if he does get on the pitch. Simply Red says, nice to see Player FC in full effect. No issue with scapegoating Rashford, Anthony and Garner, but different narrative with Manu. Again, I'm not going to buy it, but it's a completely different set of circumstances. Robert McCormack says, I'm happy to be Mount FC. Thank you, Robert. Anglin says, like heaven, but what sense does it make to sling him into the last 2 games? He obviously likes him as a central centre-back, and if De Ligt or Maguire's not there, he's probably the next in line for that central centre-back position. Yeah,
I think, I said it before, I think Euro could easily do that as well. I think both of them are good enough. I think he obviously intentionally trying to keep Euro out of the limelight a little bit. But I think, again, he would just take Aiden Heaven off at just maybe half-time or just after half-time and bring Euro on.
Kill for Diamond says, I don't get this Manu conversation. Would you really want any manager to play a player he doesn't rate? Isn't it just shoehorning them in then? I get that point, but for me, I don't understand how he doesn't rate him. For example, do you remember when Ten Hag didn't play Ahmad?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand why he wasn't playing Ahmad. It's kind of the same feeling, because Ahmad was good enough to play then, and Manu feels like he's good enough to play now. And
it also makes me just think that I feel like with a lot of people, they would rather listen to what Amorim says than actually just use what they've seen with their own eyes. I know people are going to try and bring up, I don't know, the Grimsby game or whatever it is, but from what we've seen of Manu at a younger age, surely you still believe that player is capable of playing, right? Unless you just think he's gone completely and that player does not exist and we're never going to get that Man Utd ever again. But if you truly actually watched Man Utd at the start, I'd say at the start, but I guess 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, surely you believe that player still exists and that we can still find a way to get that player back into our team. Even if you think he's lost a little bit of pace or whatever it is, that player is still there. So for me, it's more a case of trying to get that player back and then develop him from that point. But if he's just not playing at all, we're never going to get that player back ever again.
Yeah. RDLY Music says, don't know if it's been a thought, but could you do a show on the United Stand where you're doing a watch-along at the studio with United Stand crew there, like one a month, if not... if you can't do it regularly. Oh, so that's what your super chat was before, saying don't know if you've seen your super chat, but it'd be good to have my people together, even if it's once a month. Watch along from the studio, that's something you'll have to ask Goldbridge about, but Goldbridge is excellent at doing the watch alongs. He will be actually live in around 4 minutes time, taking over from us, if you can tune in there. But we've done a few watch alongs in the studio before, would love to do more. And so if it's something the community wants, I mean talk about it, but Goldbridge does great ones when he's available as well.
I'll say Friday.
But keep your eye out for Friday. Keep your eye out for Friday. That's all we'll say on that one. Keep your eye out for Friday. And we also have Radash King saying, I've always been pro Amorim, but if we play poor and lose, I will have to switch sides. Welcome back, Beth. We missed you. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Timo T says, some key players in the squad cannot be coached to play controlled football. And yes, I still think Amorim should leave. So thank you everyone for all your opinions. Loads of super chats tonight. We are going to do our super chat of the show right at the end, so stay tuned. If you put your super chat in, you might win it. Super chat of the show is happening because, I mean, speaking of Kev, actually, he did a cracking job on Countdown to Kick-Off when I was away, and he will be back for the fans forum. But he wore that Christmas jumper like a model. Yeah. I mean, I know Masra Wiwa already thinks Kev's a model, but he wore the Christmas jumper how everybody else should be wearing the Christmas jumper. So if you want your Christmas jumper, make sure you shop the link in the description. Last remaining ones. Get it in time for Christmas. Get your Christmas jumper on. We're going to actually, we need to start getting ours out. It's time for the Christmas spirit.
I'll wear it next game.
We're going to wear it. I might get mine. I might get mine on for the fans forum. Who knows?
I said if United, no, actually no, something else. If United can do a great job today and win by 3 goals, I'll 100% wear it. Without a shadow of a doubt.
We all need to get wearing it for one show, and I'll kind of have them in a row as it's getting closer to Christmas for sure. So make sure you go and grab yours. And speaking of Christmas as well, Wayne, it's a Christmas tree farm right next to Staley Bridge railway station. Make sure you go and grab your Christmas tree. Mention the United Stand, you get tenner off. I'm going to head down there and get mine. So make sure you go and get yours as well. Lovely Christmas tree there in our United Stand studio, making it all Christmasified. Gotta love Christmas, Mords.
Yeah, 100%.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Summer or Christmas?
Summer's longer. I think summer,
Summer or Christmas? Let us know your thoughts. I mean, speaking of your thoughts, we have had some questions come in from you guys. So, going to do a few quick fire of them just to kind of round up the countdown to kick-off because, as we said, this is your show. We want your questions answered. But before I do that, I need your score prediction, Mods.
Score prediction, I said 3-0. I'm confident in the 3-0. I don't think there's any way. I know I might jinx myself, I don't care, but there's no way United are not going to score at least 3 goals and we're not conceding. It's impossible.
I've gone with 2-1.
2-1 is a horrible... Come on. 2-1? That means it's a close game.
Have you watched our last games?
Have you watched Wolves' last games?
Wolves are poor, but I'm sorry, that West Ham at home, 1-1. Everton with 10 men at Old Trafford. Everton have been pretty good, to be fair, but they still had 10 men.
All of those teams
still couldn't even score.
They all beat Wolves. they have. Every team
has. I'm still saying we're going to win.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, part of me nearly went with a 1-1, and I don't want to... Look, I really don't want to be negative, but I'm just going based off the evidence that I've seen. I mean, we can't drop any points to Wolves, which is why I've gone with 2-1.
I genuinely feel like...
I don't get what makes you go into it super confident. I get Wolves are poor. Maybe that's why.
Conceding a goal's crazy to Wolves. I don't think they've scored a goal in like 5 games.
We've kept one clean sheet all season.
Yeah, but they've not conceded. They've not scored a goal in 5 games. They've not conceded. They've conceded in the last 10 games. Like, to me, the stats are way worse for them. Our stats might not be great, but theirs are even worse. So if we are going to go based off the stats, then it means that we are going to score multiple goals and they're not going to score against us. So we've had a whole conversation about United today, and I'm still, you know what I'm saying, on like 50-50, whatever it is. But today, I'm not hearing anything. I'm not hearing no number can convince me that we're not going to beat this team comfortably. We can't. It's impossible.
It's impossible, you say?
It's impossible, yeah.
I hope so. I really hope so. That's why I've gone with the win. I've gone with 2-1.
Yeah, go on, yeah.
But I'll take a 2-1. I don't want to concede, but I'll take a 2-1 based off evidence that I've seen. What are your score predictions? Get them in the comments down below. Just a few quick fire questions from our community. So you guys have put in some questions in the Q&A section of the live comment. So thank you everyone who's done that. Few quick ones, and the rest of them I'm going to bring in on either future shows or the fans forum maybe. I'll look through them. But I want to ask you, do you think we have a chance of making the top 5? Genuinely.
I mean, the way the season's going, anyone can get top 5. So I'm going to say there is a possibility that we can get top 5, yes.
If United don't win tonight, how long do you think the board will be backing Amorim?
Let me say till the end of the month, January.
Okay. Next one is, would Mainu work at left wing back?
No. Why would we do that?
Should Dorgu play over Dallo?
Right now, after Dallo's goal, I think he should be playing. So,
if you could replace Amorim with anyone, who would it be and why?
Ricky.
Love it.
There you go.
Love it. You know, my brother said that the other day. He said Ricky in. Nevi Spal says, Beth, come to Cape Town this summer and Christmas. I really want to go to Cape Town at some point. It's definitely on the to-do list. TTPF Javier says, Dallas Cowboys lost Thursday. United drew. I need United to win 7-0 today. Glory United. Shout out from Fort Worth, Texas. Yeehaw. Yeehaw to you as well. Yeehaw to you. Anyway, Melik says, Mbumo isn't as injury prone as Xerxes, and Mbumo doesn't need rotation as much as Xerxes does, especially after starting Xerxes 2 games in 5 days. That's me told.
There you go.
Fully on Mordzs' side there. WGF says 30 years of supporting United, struggling for enthusiasm in this weird Premier League season. It will take fewer points for Europe, but we have so much wasted potential. And Panam says, guys, I'm struggling to understand Acuna, Sesko and Mbumo Lamens. Amorim still has a squad that he fully didn't buy. Why do we want him out exactly? Watch the first 15 minutes of the show. It's not as if like we're massively pushing him out. It's just sharing our concerns. Watch the first 15 minutes of the show if you want to hear that. Away says, hey Queen Beth, yesterday was my birthday. I hope we get a good win today as a small birthday gift. Cheers to you all. Away, thank you so much for your continued support of the channel and myself and Mordzs. Happy birthday for yesterday, and I hope we get a win as well for a birthday present for you. Jack Davis says, why have we got a system manager? Done that one. Hopefully I got through all the super chats there, got through as many as I possibly could. Thank you for all your support on this countdown to kick off. Look, it's a Monday night, and Jamie Carragher is on Monday Night Football probably talking about the Mo Salah situation, and we've still had over 10,000 of you watching live the whole show. So we are buzzing with that. This is pretty good. This is the place to be, guys, for the build-up to Manchester United. So thank you for watching. Mark is now live to carry you through the watch-along. So make sure you go and go over there after the show. Infiltrate the comments with no excuses. Yeah, no or free Cobby.
We did that last week.
Oh, did you?
Maybe. I can't remember.
Okay, we'll go with no excuses. We don't want to be Player FC Mordzs. Yeah. We'll go with no excuses into Goldbridge's Watch Along live. Thank you everyone for watching. On the fans forum, stay tuned for it. We have myself, Mordzs, Kev and Ricky. So great panel to discuss whatever happens at the Molineux. Yeah. Can Cunha score against his old side? Let us know. But there's only a few things left to say. Actually, there's one thing left to say. Mordzs. We should have got Ricky on. Yeah. Ricky, where are you?
Can you run in quick?
Woo!